It's week 3, guys, and once again, we're back with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. All new customers bet only $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So why not bet that 5 and get these bonus bets? Come on, man, we trying to get y'all caked up. You know what it is. You love your team. You love watching football, staying on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook. And if you're not a new customer, I'm not going to forget about you. All customers can get in on 2 different offers every single game day this September. So it's week 3, get one of those offers. So go now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use my promo code DCTV to get started. Bet 5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. We all love that. We always want something more, and DraftKings is doing that for you. All right, guys, what's going on? I'm back at my house and so happy because while Noche UFC was tremendous, while UFC in Australia was tremendous, I get a break. Your boy actually gets some time to wake up in the morning and actually chill. But as I'm chilling, I'm hanging out, and I see that we're like barreling down the road to UFC in New York City, Madison Square Garden. The fight for the championship at heavyweight, the baddest man on the planet, will be decided in New York City in Madison Square, where you will have 2 of the best fighters of all time fighting in the world's most famous arena for the world's most famous belt, the UFC Heavyweight Championship. When this fight was far down the line, we paid attention to it, but you start to wonder, is it going to happen? Will these guys make it? It seems as of today, fingers crossed, that we are still on our way to seeing Jon Jones fight Stipe Miocic for that championship. As we start to get closer, I start to think and look at some of the quotes. Hey, Stipe Miocic does not talk very much. He's not a guy that you're going to find 100 articles on. He's not a guy that you're going to see constantly on television making predictions, making claims, and talking. Doesn't happen. He's just not one of those people. But recently he did an interview, and Stipe had some very interesting quotes. And I want to make these comparisons for you, because I think in these quotes, it tells you the mindset of the former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world and who is considered the greatest heavyweight fighter that we have ever seen, especially in UFC history. Stipe Miocic stated in the article, and you know why this is interesting to me? Because I remember after I beat him the first time, how some of his quotes and his attitude started to change towards me. And it was him taking offense to the way the public perceived him. Now, Stipe Miocic isn't a guy that lives a big life publicly, but he carries that chip when you start to doubt him. And he said, you guys think I'm going to lose. Good for you. Waste all your money. You're going to bet against me. You're going to lose some money. I'm sorry for that, but it'll just be on to the next for me. Hey, I remember sitting at press conferences with Miocic, and he would say these things like that. Okay, doubt me. And he would almost smirk. Because he knew what most in the public didn't know was the way he was training, the way he was preparing, and his intent in the fight. Obviously, he beat me 2 times back-to-back when he was saying those things, and I would almost brush him off. Because, again, you take his personality, and you almost take Miocic for granted. You forget he's one of the most dangerous men on the planet. But, again, he's carrying that chip. And when he fought Francis the last time, he had come off that trilogy with me, turned around quick, fought a guy he had beaten before, got knocked out. Francis was ascending, and honestly, it's hard. There's a come-down period when you come off of one of those types of rivalries where for 3 years, me and Stipe fought. We fought nobody else in 18, 19, and 2020. For 3 years, it was all he thought about. And when he was done, he had to go back to fight a guy that he had beaten the first time, and pretty convincingly, right? Francis was tired, he rode him, and all that. Miocic is upset now. Miocic is disappointed that the world is overlooking him. And that's the one thing about fighters. They at times will find motivation in things that the average human being doesn't even think twice about. We latch onto those things. You're bulletin board material, they say all the time. You're waiting for anything that someone says to try to plaster it on the wall and use it to carry you through training camp, through the fight preparation, and everything else. That's what Stipe is doing. Stipe also went on to say this, and I think this may be the biggest factor in this fight that people are overlooking. He said, I used to be around 240 pounds. And then in the DC fights, I just kept losing weight. I don't know why. I was eating a lot, but the weight kept falling off. We changed some things up in my camp. I'm eating more, and I'm doing the right things. I feel like I'm back in the 240 range. Now, on the outside, I thought Stipe was losing weight by design because I was faster than him in fight one. The first time Stipe and I fought, he weighed 243 pounds. 243, which was in line with some of the previous weights from his fights before. When he fought at UFC 220 against Francis, he weighed 246. When he fought against Junior Dos Santos at 211, he weighed 246. He was always in that mid-240s range. And then him and I started fighting, and he weighed 242 and a half. But then by the next time we fought, he was 230 and a half. And then the third time we fought, he was 230 pounds, 233, sorry. It was and you might say, oh, it's only 10, 12 pounds. Massive difference in the heavyweight division. Imagine this, guys. He was essentially going from a middleweight to a welterweight by the time him and I fought after the first time. That 12 and a half pounds. Obviously, it's 15, but just take that into consideration. He was 12 and a half pounds lighter from the first fight to the second. He was 16 pounds lighter between defending the belt against Francis to the second fight against me. I thought that was by design. The speed difference, he had to make it up, so he got smaller to do that. But what I will tell you is he also said, I hit a lot harder than people think. I have experienced that. He does, because even at 230, Miocic's power did not feel much different. He felt faster, but he still hit just as hard as he did from fight one to fight two and fight three. Now he's saying, I'm back on my stuff. I'm back in my mid-240s. Remember, Jones weighed 248 for the fight against Cyril Gane. When Miocic lost to Francis Ngannou, he weighed 234 pounds. Francis weighed 265. He had a 30-pound disadvantage. I think the best Miocic is in the mid-240s. And he's saying now that he's back around that weight. I spoke to someone in the Miocic camp, and they told me he's never looked better. He looks huge. He looks big. He looks strong. Now, is that going to be enough? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just giving you this information. I'm pulling the curtain back so that you guys can understand that expect the Stipe Miocic from the title run opposed to the guy we saw later, the small guy, the skinny guy. Remember, I remember watching people say Miocic didn't even look like the same person by the time him and I fought those last couple times because he was so slim. Expect him more bulky now. And I believe that that extra weight will help him because when you look at Jones, Jones is a big dude now at heavyweight. He is not small. And with all the wrestling and all the length that you have to deal with when fighting Jon Jones, being heavier will serve Miocic well. And I give you this last question before I let you go. How does Jon Jones look, guys, when we see him in an actual fight? I can't imagine this fight will be as quick as the last one. So we don't know how he operates in the weight class, as I'm getting a text message from Stipe Miocic right now. He said, I'm at the eye doctor doing his exam. He's 245. 245. Hope all is well. That's from the champ himself. I had been hearing it. I didn't know. I had to get it from the man. The man texts me right now, getting his eye exam, 245 pounds. Got to be bigger to fight Jones. No doubt about it. Jones is a heavyweight. He took his time, Sure. He was away for a while. Sure. Jones is a heavyweight. He's a big guy. You got to be bigger. Miocic is getting bigger. Back to the guy that we saw on the title run. But how does my man Jones look in an actual fight? Because he'll get a fight this time. He's going to have to go in rounds. Now, if he doesn't, boy, if this guy or if either of these guys wipes the other one out, it would be jaw-dropping. I would be as shocked as I was when Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya. If one of these guys makes this fight look easy, my jaw would hit the floor. I would be astounded. I don't anticipate that, though. I anticipate a long, grueling fight, and I anticipate that we will learn a lot about both of these fighters on this fight night in November, because we will know where Stipe is now in his career. We'll also know what Jon Jones has left, because if Jon Jones can be the guy that we have seen for so long at heavyweight against Stipe, crazy. It will be absolutely crazy. We're at UFC 2. What are we at now? UFC 294 is in Abu Dhabi. UFC 295 is in New York City, I believe. The biggest fight that we have seen for a really long time, because we have the greatest heavyweight champ of all time versus what many believe is the greatest fighter to ever step in the octagon. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Sick fight, sick arena. I'm in the Stipe weighs 245 again. Jones weighs about 248, 250. What if Jones comes in lighter? For me, the ideal scenario for me as a fan, because I'm a fan of this thing, the ideal scenario for me as a fan would be Miocic comes in the mid-40s. Jones actually comes in the 230s. Little lighter. Look more like himself when he was a light heavyweight, because when he was a light heavyweight, I bet he was stepping into the octagon at about 220, 222 pounds at the most. If he comes in a little lighter, because I thought he was a little heavy in his heavyweight debut, if he comes in a little lighter and Miocic comes in a little heavier, then I feel like we will get the fight that we expected a long time ago. The heavyweight fight and the guy that we knew so well at light heavyweight. So skilled, so talented, so good in all areas of mixed martial arts against the greatest heavyweight of all time. It would be nuts. Guys, look, I love breaking down these fights. I love getting excited for these fights. I'm a fan of it. But I got Uriah Faber on the phone right now. Look, I mean, the phone's ringing. The California kid's calling. That means that I got to check out. Hey, I love all the support to each and every one of you. I love you. I appreciate you, and I thank you. Hey, Abu Dhabi is going to be sick. Makhachev Oliveira too. And then we get to Miocic versus Jones. The UFC schedule is not slowing down. It's only picking up as we head to the end of the year. So until next time, guys, like, subscribe, tell your friend to tell a friend that DC's got a YouTube channel. And I'm dropping gems twice a week. And check out The Volume. All the podcasts from Club Shay Shay to Richard Sherman and everybody else, the man Colin Cowherd, the boss El Jefe. Go check those guys out. Till next time, peace.